In our financial environment, along with the other key players, DFIs or development finance institutions also play a very important role. These are the organizations which actually contribute towards the development part of any economy or any country. We have heard as a common man the names of some of the international fund providers, IMF and World Bank. IMF is an institution which provides financing to countries which are in crisis or are in need of making their revenues and their expenditure the same. IMF का रोल ऑपरेशनल कॉस्ट के डिफरेंस को पूरा करना है, जबकि वर्ल्ड बैंक विच इज़ एक्चुअली डेवलपमेंट फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशन, वर्ल्ड बैंक का रोल ये है कि किसी भी मुल्क के अंदर डेवलपमेंट के अंदर सपोर्ट किया जाए और वहाँ पर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बिल्ड करने के लिए और ऐसे काम करने के लिए पैसा दिया जाए जिससे लॉन्ग टर्म में उस मुल्क के अंदर इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी बढ़े और इकोनॉमिक growth ho. So this is actually the role of development finance institutions, that they play their role in supporting an economy or a country to grow economically. They provide funds not for earning profit. So they are not like commercial banks which actually provide you a loan for making profit, but their purpose is to support development. Mostly, the development finance institutions provide financing to emerging economies or to developing economies. Pakistan is one of the economies which is regarded by the world as emerging economy. That is, एक ऐसी economy जो कि ग्रोथ की तरफ जा रही है, जिसके अंदर पोटेंशियल मौजूद है कि वो एक डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमी के अंदर तब्दील हो सके. ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है स्टूडेंट्स के लिए जहन में रखना कि दुनिया के मुख्तलिफ मुल्क, जिनको हम दुनिया की मुख्तलिफ इकोनॉमीज़ भी कह सकते हैं, या तो डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज़ कहलाती हैं, या डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज़ कहलाती हैं, या अंडर डेवलप्ड इकोनॉमीज़ कहलाती हैं. जो मुल्क गरीब हैं, जिनके पास आमदन कम है, जिनके अंदर पॉवर्टी लेवल्स बहुत हाई हैं, जिनकी रेवेन्यूज़ और इनकम कम है, वो अंडर डेवलप्ड की कैटेगरी में आती हैं. लेकिन डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज़ असल में वो कंट्रीज़ हैं कि जिनके अंदर ये पोटेंशियल मौजूद है कि वो डेवलप्ड कंट्रीज़ में कन्वर्ट हो जाएं. एंड डेवलपमेंट फाइनेंस इंस्टीट्यूशंस एक्चुअली प्ले द रोल इन मेकिंग दीज डेवलपिंग इकोनॉमीज़ into developed economies. They provide loans or financing which is actually for development purposes, and that is for long-term purposes. And whenever finances are provided for developing purposes and for long-term, there is always a high risk element in that. So all DFIs actually operate at a high level of risk as compared to other financial institutions which provide financing which is relatively more secure. Here they actually participate in that development process. And as I mentioned, that actually the purpose of DFIs is to increase development and ultimately growth. There are different types of development finance institutions. Some of these DFIs are multilateral development banks and institutions, those which actually contribute in the development process of the whole world and different countries. As I mentioned, the World Bank, which is one which is contributing in the development of the whole country. Similarly, we also have Asian Development Bank and African Development Bank, the banks which are actually contributing for the development of many countries which require development. Then there are bilateral development institutions where one institution is actually for the development of another country or another economy. In addition to that, we also have national development institutions like in Pakistan. We also have some institutions which are nationally supporting the development process at various levels. Then we have got community development institutions, and these are even smaller. If you look at the multilateral and bilateral and national and then community, we are actually focusing from the broader to the narrower. So there are institutions which are involved in community development. For example, a small town or a village, or even a smaller community where the development process is carried out by that institution. So they're of different types. Some of the credit unions are there, some of the village banks, or you can say the local banks which operate at this level. Then we also have got microfinance institutions or microfinance banks. The role is again to bring people out of poverty and to support development in a way that they become more sustainable in terms of their income. So, in the nutshell, we can say that development finance institutions are those banks and financial institutions whose job is, or the purpose is, actually to support the economies and the people of those economies and countries to increase their revenue and to grow economically and financially.